Right, welcome back. Another episode of the Bond Show I'm doing here. Moving right along, the ninth episode. I'll go ahead and say that this one was definitely better than Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die was, wow, that was bad. But today we're talking about The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974. It's still just not a good film. It's better than Live and Let Die, but it's just Guy Hamilton directed this. This is his fourth time directing a Bond film. This is his very last Bond film, and he just never captures the magic of Goldfinger ever again. It's just he hits it once, knocks it out of the park, and then strikes out every other step up to the plate. It's just a grounder, man. And this is Roger Moore's second outing as Bond. He was 46 years old. You have your Bond girls, Mary Goodnight, Andrea Anders, Seda, Chumi. Chumi's a great name. She's not really a Bond girl. She has one scene and it's like 30 seconds long. Our villain, Francisco Scaramanga. Awesome. The Bond car, the AMC Hornet hatchback. I think it's an X, 1974. And our song is The Man with the Golden Gun by Lulu. Lulu, that's a name. We're gonna jump right in because I have no pre-movie facts this time. All of my facts are gonna be in the film. So we open up on a beach on a private island and we see a little person waiter, which is Knick Knack. And he would later go on to be on Fantasy Island. And this is one thing about this film. When I'm reading the encyclopedia and stuff like that, I read about how kind of a pain that Sean Connery was to deal with, how the production of the Sean Connery movies were to deal with and stuff. But when it gets to the Roger Moore movies, you see like how much fun everyone had, now how much camaraderie there was and stuff like that. So how easy Roger Moore was to deal with. And in one of those stories, there's one about Roger Moore and the guy who plays Knick Knack. I can't really pronounce his name that well, so I'm just not going to. I'm just going to call him Knick Knack. So him and the actor who plays Knick Knack, Roger Moore, are on an elevator at their hotel, and they're just talking. And the actor who plays Knick Knack says whenever he lives in a high rise, he can't have any room above the first floor. And confused, Roger Moore's like, well, why not? That sounds kind of strange. He's like, because I can't reach the buttons. Because he's a little guy, which is funny. Like it's self-depreciating humor, but it's funny that these guys had enough like camaraderie to where they can make those jokes with each other. So I love that. But back into the movie, we go into Knick Knack's going to bring something to someone, and we see Andrea Anders. Played by the wonderful Maud Adams, which Maud Adams and Christopher Lee were friends. And speaking of Christopher Lee, we also see Scaramanga, which is Christopher Lee. Now, it wasn't supposed to be Christopher Lee. It was actually supposed to be Jack Palance. Jack Palance, you know that guy. That's Curly from City Slickers. Jack Palance is in there. But turned out with Christopher Lee. Now, Christopher Lee was actually supposed to play Dr. No, but Albert Broccoli, the producer, who is really absent-minded, kept forgetting. And by the time he remembered, oh, Christopher Lee could do this, he was already cast. So it took this long for Christopher Lee to get into the movie. And we have Christopher Lee right there. Super awesome. I love Christopher Lee. And we have, there is one thing about Scaramanga that is, for some reason, important to the plot, and that's that he has a third nipple. Like that's actually an important plot point in this movie. That tells you where this movie's going. The fact that having a third nipple is a huge plot point. And in case you're wondering, like a third nipple is a real thing. Mark Wahlberg has one. Zac Efron has one. Harry Styles has one. So these three people who are considered to be just the most handsome men on the planet have a third nipple. I do not have a third nipple. And I like to consider myself one of the most handsome men on the planet. Wink. Sometimes I say it when I do it because it makes it sexier, you know. And I just like to be sexy. I like to hold my glass like this, just to be attractive. Cold brew, fruity pebbles creamer this time, guys. I got a lot of it. Big canister. But anyway, we're on this island, and we do. And there's going to be an assassination attempt on Scaramanga. Who is this guy, and why is he trying to assassinate Scaramanga? We don't know, and we never find out. So the thing is, he's trying to get this assassin, but he's going to take this assassin through these weird carny-like things. He takes him through a mirror maze. There's like wax figures of gangsters shooting at him. A wax Western guy shooting at him. He's like, you know, kind of weird. But you can tell they're actually real people and not wax figures because the gangsters are like kind of moving, you know. So these people are like robots. So apparently, from what I can gather, is he has killed these people and made them into robots. Maybe, I don't know. They're like sideshows. And the little guy, Knick Knack, he's running the whole thing. He's like, "Yeah, good luck, Scaramanga. See if you can get him." And stuff like that. And they're like, "What is this guy on his side or what? We don't know, man. It's so weird." And finally, the guy pops up and Scaramanga, boom, golden gun. Pow. And the thing about the golden gun is it never misses and it kills you in one shot. That's the thing. And in all the video games, it's always an unlock. It's like, oh, if you get the golden gun, then you'll kill everyone in one hit. It's a thing. GoldenEye had it. From Russia with Love had it. So, but at the end of it, we see a statue of James Bond. He's doing his thing. He has his thing. It's basically the beginning. It's that, but it's him posing like that. But it's clearly Roger Moore. It's not a wax figure. And they come out and they shoot his fingers off, and he's sitting here like this. Just, you know, it's kind of crazy. But that goes straight into our intro with some ripply water and a little some funky music. Man with the golden gun. Yeah, something like that. It wasn't really like that. It was a really bad song. I hated it. It annoyed the ever-loving piss out of me. But the thing about this though is, if you're an Alice Cooper fan, if you're an Alice Cooper fan and you have the Muscle of Love album, which I do, there's a song on there. The song is called "The Man with the Golden Gun." What? Why would he do that? It's because he wrote that song for this movie. They turned him down and went with Lulu instead. We could have had Alice Cooper. I'm going to give you a reminder. Alice Cooper for a Bond song. He could have been the only artist to do a Bond song and a Friday the 13th song. He's the man behind the mask. Yeah. Alice Cooper, man. I'm a heavy metal guy, so of course I love Alice Cooper. And it would have been amazing to have that. But end of the intro, we're going right into the movie. Here we go. We go straight into M's office because that's where most Bonds start out. It's M's office. And we're meeting with M. We're finding out something. Hey, have you ever heard of Scaramanga? And Bond says, yeah, he was born in a circus. And his mother was a carny. His dad was a traveling salesman or something. And it's very weird. And then they're just talking about how he's kind of a baddie and he did some things. Okay, and right here in this scene, Roger Moore is immensely better. He is so much better as Bond. He's confident. He's got it back. So, like I said, I'm not going to count Live and Let Die in the whole. My hair's not cooperating today. In the whole ranking of Bond because it was his first Bond. He was kind of like, what do we do here? There are some missteps with this Bond too, which we'll get to. But we found out that Bond is going to be relieved. He's going to be relieved of duty for a while because Scaramanga's a dangerous man and he's killing off agents. Okay, cool. So he's gonna have to, but there's a little hint. He's like, but what if I find Scaramanga first? And M's like, well, then that may solve your problem. Kind of like a, I didn't say you could do that. But you should probably do that. He leaves and he goes talk, and he's going to the front office to talk to Moneypenny, which is not a very Moneypenny scene, but it's okay. She helps move the plot along. We find out that Scaramanga has killed 002, oh my, with a golden gun. And we found out that he was never connected to it. Well, why wasn't he connected to it? Because they never found the bullet. So that's the key. That's what Bond has to do. He has to go find the bullet. But where to? Well, O2 was killed here, so let's go there. And that's when we meet Seda. She's a belly dancer. You see her belly and everything. She's got a rocking bod and everything. Then it kind of moves up to her face, and you're kind of like, oh, sorry. She was not very attractive to me, but she was cool with the belly dance. I wish I could belly dance. It'd be sweet. My like beautiful dad bod. I don't really have a dad bod, but my non-muscular jiggle billy just, ooh, be all right. I mean, I could wear the little chingy ching things. Oh, my fiance, now she can belly dance. She can do some crazy stuff, man. It's cool. But so we find out. We go back. He goes to the back and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" So we find out that Seda was a witness to the 002 murder. Not only was she a witness, but she has the bullet because the bullet hit her, but she kept it as a souvenir. She kept it as a souvenir, and she made it into a little belly button ring, and you can see it there. It's a bullet. It's like, whoa, it's a smashed bullet. And Bond is like, oh, well, that's cool. How about we gets down? And he starts like kind of kissing her and stuff, but he tries to take her belly button, and she's like, no, it's my good luck charm. Back off. So he's like, okay, cool. And he's like, oh, he's kissing on her belly and everything. You got a great belly. He's kissing on her belly and he bites down on the bullet and a bunch of goons break in. Like, oh my God. And then he swallows the bullet. Dead serious. He like that. And she's like, oh no. But he comes in there and there's a cool little scene in here when you see Bond, he's fighting off these three guys. And this isn't like Sean Connery's Bond. This Bond fights and gets hit. He's like, well, oh, come on, man, you won't. It's crazy. Sean Connery would have just went, judo, chop, and it would have been over. So, but he's actually getting fought in here. And there's a point when Roger Moore gets slammed against the wall, and you see blood trickling down his face. That's real blood because in this scene, the stuntman hauled off and decked Roger Moore. Roger Moore, of course, being the professional he was, no, let's keep going, man. And he's got blood coming down. So every time he actually wipes it later and you see it smear, it's like it's real blood. It's very cool. Roger Moore, man. Yeah, that gives you points in the rankings for being so cool. So he swallows a bullet. He's fighting off these guys, real blood, and he escapes. But they don't show him getting the bullet out. He just has the bullet and he hands it to the scientist. They never mention how he got it, where he got it, or that he even swallowed the bullet. It's just like, yeah, here. And then he's over here like, oh, this bullet kind of smells funny. What the hell's going on here? He never says that. He's just like, oh, this bullet, this is a golden bullet. This is definitely his. This is the guy who made it. We got to go find him now. So that's where they're going. One clue leads to another. One clue leads to another. We meet our next guy. He is the guy who makes the bullets. And this is where Bond starts kind of trailing off. Where it's like, okay. So basically the director and the writer was like, we've got to make Bond tougher. We want our Bond to be like the book Bond. Now the book Bond tortured people and stuff like that. The book Bond was very, very harsh. Basically the closest we've ever had to the book Bond, besides Daniel Craig, because Casino Royale was pretty much the book. Other than that, the other movies really don't follow the books very well. But the closest we've had to the book Bond is Timothy Dalton. Timothy Dalton was a dick. And it pretty much, like, if you read the Bond books, he is not a nice person. So, but I digress. We move on. He's in here to get the bullets. Who made the bullet? Oh, yeah, I made this bullet. Well, let's put it in this rifle and I'll show you what it does. And he puts the bullet in the rifle, cocks it in there. Boom. Bond misses the target. He's 2 inches low. What? He's like, no, there's something wrong with your gun. The sights are off. He's like, no, the bullet was made for a man with 3 fingers, so it automatically goes goes 1 inch low. That way, when he shoots it, it's 1 inch high. Now, what that has to do with the dude with 3 fingers, I don't know. Whatever. So he has a bullet. He's like, okay, cool. And he loads in another bullet, and the guy's like, all right, well, what about these bullets you're making for Scaramanga? What? He turns the gun on the guy, and he's going to shoot this guy. He actually shoots at him, and misses him 1 inch low. And he's like, yeah, you're right, it is 1 inch low. And he puts in another gun. The guy's like, oh, here's your bullets. Cool. I deliver him to a casino. That's all I do. And he goes to the casino, takes his off, goes, excuse me, goes to the casino. But before he can even get there, we meet Mary Goodnight. She is our Bond girl, played by Britt Eklund. Wasn't the hugest fan of Mary Goodnight because it was almost like they were trying to turn this movie into a buddy comedy, and she was his buddy. Like, she was there for a lot of comedic relief. So I was kind of like, she's still cool in her own way, but it's just, whatever. So we go with it, we meet her, but we finally meet her, and she's like, well, we got to go over here because I got to follow Andrea Anders. He follows her out, and this is another one where Bond is a little mean. He actually gets to Andrea's house. She's taking a shower, and for some reason, he just stops and watches her. He's like, it's kind of creepy, really. And she steps out of the shower, and she's like, yeah, I got a gun. He's like, well, you always take a shower with a gun? That's weird. And he's like in there, and he actually gets the upper hand on her, but he pins her down, takes her arm, puts it up her back, and he's like, tell me where Scaramanga is. Where's Francis? But and he's like, tell me where Scaramanga. I can't tell you that. You don't tell me where it is, I'm going to break your arm. And he like branches it up higher, and this is where it's like, I don't think Bond would do this. The Bond movies, and she's like, okay, and he lets her go, and then she's like, I can't tell you, he'd kill me, and he smacks her. It's like, what the heck? She's like, you don't understand, and he's gonna smack her again, and then she gives up the goods. But when they were filming this movie, Roger Moore hated filming the scene because he felt that this is not what Bond would do. Bond would have charmed her, which I agree with Roger Moore in this. I think that he would have just charmed her, been like, hey, I'm Bond, you're a lady, you know what that means, But as it stands, that's not what happens. And she tells him where to find him. We go to the compound where we meet Chew Me. Yeah, that you can't get any more pictures than that. She's always in the tub, but she's always in the pool because she swam naked. You see some stuff, and it's like, all right, this is a PG movie, but if you look in the water, you see things. And she really doesn't have many lines. She's just like, oh, hey, what's up? And he starts undressing, and then this guy, high fat. He is kind of the guy, he's basically he's the kingpin. He runs the show. Scaramanga works for him, and we don't really know that yet, but he does. And Bond is already undressing, and we see this. Bond has a third nipple. So the guy's like, oh, I didn't realize it was you, Scaramanga. I'm sorry. Like, oh, okay, this is cool. But the whole time the guy's like, you're not Scaramanga. Scaramanga works for me. So, and he ends up making him fight some sumo dudes, which is one of the funnier things because he's fighting the sumo guys. And one of the sumo guys gets him in a bear hug. He's like, and he's like, oh no. And there's a lot of close-up shots of Bond grabbing his butt. And I'm dead serious about that. Watch Man with a Golden Gun and watch the sumo fight. He is grabbing, I'm talking full on middle school dance, close dancing to whatever they did to Jewel. And he's just grabbing some, you didn't know what to do in middle school. You didn't know you had to leave some room for the Holy Ghost. You had to you were up there. You didn't even know to do the whole waist and hand thing. No, you were behind here hugging each other, just swaying back and forth. You were in your safe zone. rocking out to Jewel and Alanis Morissette. I'm dating myself here. I'm not young. But anyway, he escapes this sumo dude by giving him a wedgie. Just pulls him up, pulls up, and he's like, "Ah, my balls!" And that's how he escapes. Weirdness. But let's just skip on. This is where it's at right here. We go into the lair, if you will, and we see a random martial arts demonstration. Very random. I'm talking dudes and geese, just what's up, and you're like, okay. But I was like, this is so random. Why is this happening? And then I realized this is 1974. There was a movie that came out in 1973, Enter the Dragon, which absolutely popularized martial arts. So it was everywhere, including in James Bond. And it's all because of the king himself, Bruce Lee. Amazing man. I actually have a Bruce Lee tattoo. I really do. I'm not even kidding. It's not of his face. It's one of his sayings with his dragon long and his yin yang with the 2 arrows on it. Yes. The unity yin yang. So I'm a huge fan of Bruce Lee, and I was like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, so that's why it would happen. Just because martial arts were extremely popular. But we also get, there's a moment when Bond is having to fight, and we get a very Indiana Jones-esque kind of thing, where the martial artist steps up onto, he's like, just doing flips, showing him, doing kicks, showing Bond that he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, son, look at this, look what I can do, whoa! And they step up and he bows and Bond kicks him in the face, game over. Because Bond doesn't bow, Bond just kicks him in the face. It's like, so it's just like the Indiana Jones where the guy's like, and he just shoots him. Yeah, it's a lot like that. I got fun facts about that one too. So I don't know, I laughed at that. That was funny. But he actually escapes through this. He actually has to fight like the best martial artist, and the guy's just beating the crap out of him. And finally Bond gets the upper hand and kind of just jumps out of a window. He's like, I can't beat this guy. See ya. And he jumps out of a window, and then we get more martial artists coming out. The 2 twins that can do martial arts, the 2 twin girls who I couldn't find their names. But that's more of a Bond girl than Chew-Mi. And the 2 girls are like kicking ass, man. It's so great. And we get, now it's wonderful. But it's very misplaced in this movie. It doesn't make sense. Why was there a martial arts demonstration here? It doesn't make sense at all. Even though I love martial arts. So anyway, he escapes on a boat, as Bond does. You see me talking about boats in all these movies. Boats and hoes, prestige worldwide. Anyway, but he's in there, and he's on this boat, and there's this little boy, and there's a moment here where this little boy is on another boat trying to sell this elephant to a tourist. He's like, you give me $80, you give me $70, you give me that, and he sees Bond coming. He jumps off the boat, swims to Bond's boat, gets on there. He's like, you very handsome man, I give you $40. And he's like, okay. And he has this elephant, and I'm often wondering if this is kind of a shout out, because there is a story that goes with this movie. This is the last movie produced by Broccoli and Saltzman. Broccoli and Saltzman were the production team that brought you all 9 of these Bond movies. Albert Broccoli and Henry Saltzman. And after this movie, starting with For Your Eyes Only, it is, isn't it? Yeah, no, The Spy Who Loved Me, sorry. Starting with The Spy Who Loved Me, it's only Albert Broccoli presents. Before this, it was Albert Broccoli and Harry Saltzman presents. And this one I got from Roger Moore's autobiography. He said that on set, Saltzman and Broccoli just butted heads constantly. They were constantly fighting. They were just, their relationship deteriorated with the Sean Connery movies. But what killed it was Henry Saltzman said, hey, why don't we have this big elephant stampede? We have elephants, and we have Scaramanga and Bond on top of these elephants, chasing each other. and it wouldn't be that bad, but elephants do have to have special shoes to run on gravel and stuff like that. It's like, that's all we'd have to pay for. And Broccoli's like, yeah, that seems expensive. Let's not do that. Weeks later, Broccoli would get a phone call, and it was someone saying, hey, we've got your 20,000 pairs of, or 2,000 pairs of elephant shoes, and they need to be paid for. And like, I didn't order these, and he knew that Saltzman did it, and he was like, no, we ain't taking those, and he nixed the elephant idea, and Saltzman was so mad that he quit the franchise and sold his 50% of the production company to other people, and this caused a major issue because The Spy Who Loved Me wasn't made until 4 years later because it was in developmental hell because of this. This was just absolute destruction to this franchise, and Broccoli's just like, I need to make the next Bond movie. Like, well, you got to do it our way. He's like, no. Eventually it got solved, all the lawsuits and everything, but all because of an elephant. And I'm wondering if this little boy selling this elephant for $20, $40 is a little shout out. But he is trying to sell this elephant to Bond, and Bond does another thing where he said his boat's dying. He's like, if you can get this boat running, I'll give you 20,000 baht. He's like, okay, cool. And he flicks a switch, the boat starts, he's like, 20,000 baht. And Bond says, I'll bow you. And he throws the boy off the boat. And this is another instant that Roger Moore hated filming this because he's like, this is so mean. Bond wouldn't do this. So another one, and this is where they're still trying to find Bond's footing. So, but after all this, the next thing that happens is what takes me just kind of made the rating of this movie go, and that is the return of the redneck sheriff, the one from the previous movie, the one with the chaw in his mouth, and he's automatically like, look at all you pointy heads out here. He's automatically starting his racist ways. Once again, this is 1974, completely different thing. It's meant for comedy, but still just not cool. So the redneck's back. Jeez. But I digress. So we'll get to him later. We go all the way back, and Bond knows where Scaramanga is, everything. Scaramanga has killed High Fat at this point, and now he's the leader. But Bond's like, I'm gonna get a little naughty no from Miss Goodnight. Hey, you want to do some stuff? And she's like, no. She's like, whatever, man. Get out of here. We're partners. Let's get out. But you know what happens when a woman says no to Bond? The very next scene, she's in bed with him, because that's how it goes. He's in there, and she comes out of the bathroom, and she's just like, never mind. I changed my mind. Let's do this. Because Bond does that. Okay. I mean, I wish I had that power. This is like, if I had the power for every girl that said no to me to suddenly be in my bed in the next scene of my life, that would be lovely. Because, I mean, I've been turned down a lot. Like a lot. Just because I got this, this doesn't win everything. And I didn't always have this. You just saw me in school, man. I was a monster, a damn troll. Anyway, so I grew into my looks. So we get she's shot down, but she's in bed with him, and what happens? Well, Andrea comes in. Andrea Anders comes in, interrupts, and instead of being just like, oh, he throws Mary in the closet and gets down with Andrea. It's like, oh, what are you doing? She's in the closet the entire time they're doing the bond, they're bonding. I'm gonna edit that out. So we basically that's they and Andrew's gonna go back, and Scaramanga basically knows. It's like, yeah, you've been with Bond, and she kind of disappears. And then we get into, let's just jump straight to the car chase, the most Dukes of Hazzard car chase in the AMC Hornet X, which actually looks like the Dukes of Hazzard car. It is not. It's a Challenger, but this is an AMC Hornet. And he's going, and our redneck friend is with us. He's like, yeehaw, look at these, you some bitches, yo, great, yeehaw, ding. It's like, it is so freaking weird. And we're just driving down the dirt roads and everything. They're getting chased by the bad guys, and there's a point where they're driving and they get stopped, and the redneck puts his head out the window. Why don't you move out the way, you little brown pointy heads? He says, you little brown pointy heads. Wow. But anyway, we're gonna have to escape here, and there's a little bridge that's out, but it just happens to be shaped like this. So what's Bond gonna do? Well, Bond's gonna have some fun. Bond's gonna back it up, and we get the redneck. You ain't gonna do what I think you're gonna do. And Bond's like, oh yeah, I am, in a weird southern accent. And he drives and hits the ramp, and we get one of the coolest stunts. I digress, could have been coolest stunts, but while they're in the air, you hear a slide whistle. Completely ruins the stunt. And it's so cool. It's landed perfectly. It looks beautiful, but there's a slide whistle. And the reason why the slide whistle was even there is because the director said no one would believe that this could actually be done. So let's add a slide whistle. He has gone on record saying he regrets that decision. He wishes he would have left it out. But he did. Slide whistle. He directed it, and it happens. He escapes. Regnick gets out, tries to talk to the local authorities. Distracts him long enough for Bond to get out. And then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the movie, the final third act, as we do with Bond films. We get Bond flying to, he knows where the island is now. He's going to fly to this island. The plane that is flown in this movie was actually donated by a rich guy. He was like, I don't need this plane anymore. You can use it for your Bond film, but only I can fly it. So the guy got to fly it and stuff like that. He got to fly it in the movie. But we get to this island, the island from the beginning of the movie. And the cool thing about this island is this island had a name. I forgot it, sorry. But now it is called Bond Island. If you go to this island in real life, you say, where's Bond Island? They can show you where it is. Cool little thing. And we get the third act scene of whenever Bond meets, or doesn't meet, but gets together with the villain, and they act like buddies. They're like, hey, how's it going? They're all cordial, shaking hands, everything. Let me casually tell you how I'm going to take over the world, Bond, right before I kill you. Because it became a trope of Bond films to do this. So we're out here, and we're having fun. And here's a little fun fact. Roger Moore and Christopher Lee are friends in real life. They were before. And they're on this Bond Island. And if you don't know who Christopher Lee is, if you've been living under a rock for all these years, Christopher Lee played Saruman in Lord of the Rings. I have a Lord of the Rings tattoo. I love Lord of the Rings. I'm a big nerd. Right there, see, Lord of the Rings. One ring to rule them all. And he also played Dracula. Dracula, scary guy. So there's a scene when Bond or Roger Moore and Christopher Lee are walking down, looking at these caverns, and in real life, whenever they were filming, not on camera, Roger Moore sees a cave, and it's filled with bats. Roger Moore's not scared of bats. He walked in, he turned to Christopher Lee as they were walking. He said, "Master, they are yours to command." Christopher Lee, being Dracula, laughed it off and was like, "Oh, you know." I love that. I love little stories like that, little stories from the set, because he was Dracula, and I like it. So we get here, and when he's going to tell Bond what's going on, and at first it sounds okay, because this is an environmentally friendly Bond. There's a big energy crisis going on. They need more energy. You know, we need to have some alternate energy, and Scaramanga has created a way to turn solar energy. He has solar panels, and he turns it into a laser. So he's using the sun to create energy and lasers. He turns it into a laser, which causes more power, and he can spread that around the world. But because he's the bad guy, he's also using it to create laser beams, and he shoots Bond's plane. Boom, explodes. So he's like, I could have done that when you were flying in, but I didn't. But we get to a point where they're going to sit down for dinner, and the big plot's going to come out. Mary comes out of left field wearing a bikini, and Bond's like, "Whoa, wait a second!" And Christopher Lee, or Scaramanga. I've been saying Scaramanda this whole time. It's actually Scaramanga. Sorry about that. Scaramanga sees her in a bikini. He's like, I love a woman in a bikini because she has no concealed weapons, which is funny. He has a good line. It was a good Bond line, actually, but he got it. And we sit down to dinner, and Scaramanga is saying, we're going to duel to the death. Get your gun, you get your gun, I get my golden gun, we do 20 paces, we shoot. And Bond's like, well, you have 1 bullet, I have 6. And Scaramanga says, I only need 1. Just cool. And we get the duel. Oh my god. And they're taking their 20 paces, turns around, shoots 1 bullet, but Scaramanga's not there. What's going on? And the little guy's over there going, hey, the plane boss, go over there. And he's like, okay. And he falls in there and he goes in. And we are back in the weird carny thing. He has gotten Bond into the weird carny death thing, which is, it was just pretty cool, you know. And he's in there. He's like, okay, there's the mirror maze. There's all this. He keeps seeing things. He's shooting. He's down to 3 bullets. But he gets up in the rafters. He's like, no, I'm not going to go for this. I'm going to go around. He gets up in the rafter, drops his gun, just like, oh, Bond, you idiot. And he's watching Scaramanga. He's like, oh, what is going on here? And he sees the statue of himself. You see the missing fingers, and he's got the gun and everything. He's like, oh, this is kind of odd. But Scaramanga's like looking around. He doesn't know what's going on. He goes back to the statue, and you see the statue, but you see the statue slightly moving, so it's like, oh, you know what's going to happen. And he turns around, boom, shoots Scaramanga. Scaramanga's gone. Yeah, it's tongue thing. Yeah. And it's over, but all this time Mary's fighting this other guy. She throws him into a vat of coolant, which is going to explode, blow up the whole thing. They got to get out. They get on a boat. They sail off. Boom, 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 boom. It's over. The island's gone. We think we're all over, but you know, the Bond trope, we have to have one more assassination attempt. It wouldn't be a Bond movie without one more assassination attempt. So the little guy comes out. We got Nick Nack coming out there, and it turns into a little comedy thing. He's kicking Bond in the shins. He's running around, kicking Bond in the butt, stuff like that. So Bond grabs a suitcase and traps him in it. Traps him in a suitcase, takes him outside. Turns out he ties him up to the cell. Didn't kill him. And then he lays down with Goodnight, and we get a nice little funny ending where the British intelligence calls, I need to speak to Miss Goodnight. All right. And they're kiss, you know, like, hello. He picks it up. She's just coming. Double entendre. And he puts the phone down there, kiss. Good night. Picks up the phone. Yeah, good night. Hangs up. Credits roll. That's the end of your movie. Not a bad Bond, not a great Bond. I would still say it's not in the top. I still say that Man with a Golden Gun and Live and Let Die are the bottom 2. And it's really weird because I feel like these movies are going to rank really low in the James Bond rankings, but I feel like Roger Moore is going to rank really high because I remember Roger Moore being really good. So, here you go. I just vibrated that, and I'm sorry. Rating, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Once again, not great, not bad. Your kill count is 1. He killed 1 person, and it was Scaramanga, and his love count is 2. He slept with Mary Goodnight and Andrea Anders. So it wasn't bad. I wouldn't say that it was the worst. It had some good moments. The car flip, if it wouldn't have had the slide whistle, would have been a lot cooler. You know, been a lot cooler if you did. You know. But next up, the 10th episode. We're doing 10 episodes. All right. The Spy Who Loved Me from 1977 took a long time to make this movie because of the production problems. Our first Lewis Gilbert movie. Lewis Gilbert would come back and do several of them. The Spy Who Loved Me. Roger Moore would be, this is third outing? Yeah, third outing. And we have Barbara Bach in this one. That's going to be cool. Carl Stromberg is the Bond villain. We get the Lotus Spirit, which is a beautiful car, and a really cool Carly Simon song. Nobody Does It Better, which is a really good one. Now, at one point, we got Moonraker coming up. Where is, I do believe, no, it's the last Bond film, the very last Bond, not the last Bond film, the last Roger Moore film, which I'm really excited to get to. So way down there, View to a Kill, that's going to be our 15th episode, and it's going to be awesome because that's Christopher Walken. So, but the next one is A Spy Who Loved Me, another Roger Moore film, and hopefully you'll join me for that. If not, well, then you probably have better things to do. I mean, than to watch me drone on for 30 minutes. So, but I'm DC, and join me next time. Thank you for watching once again.